Step 5 in making diversity work is healthy communication. One of the primary reasons that diversity activities, diversity initiatives, and diversity programs fail is because we are afraid to talk to one another about this topic. But when we do begin to talk, after that fear is still there, because we've held so much inside for so long, frequently the way in which communication emerges can be to lash out and is very unhealthy. That's why it's not only important to talk about diversity regularly, it's important to do so in a healthy manner. Accusations, finger pointing, unkind words, and derogatory language, do not work. These methods divide people. But utilizing interpersonal communication that is healthy and open unifies people and creates an environment that is safe, welcoming, innovative, progressive, and productive. The best way to communicate in a healthy manner is to make sure that we have carefully taken into consideration the previous 4 steps that make diversity work. When we do so, our chances for healthy communication increase dramatically. When we take into consideration step number 1, the inclusion of all and the exclusion of none, we realize that communication with anyone and everyone is important, but that we do it equitably and not always equally. By communicating equitably, we make sure that we communicate in a way that fits the needs and desires of those with whom we communicate as individuals, and not communicate the same way with everyone. For instance, would I talk to a child about the topic of diversity the same way that I would speak to an adult about it? Well, probably not. Step 2 comes into play because one of the reasons diversity initiatives fail more often than not is because we're afraid to communicate at all about the topic. Now, I'm not talking about training someone on diversity all the time, but simply asking each other questions and talking to one another about ourselves. But by not confronting this discomfort, more problems arise than if we did. So by understanding that discomfort equals positive change is extremely important. We need to communicate. If we don't, emotions fester and unhealthy communication may emerge in anger and other unhealthy ways. Step 3 emerges by making sure before we communicate, we self-evaluate. I need to think about how I wish to send out my words, in which direction they need to go, and understanding my emotions as they correlate with what I'm about to say. Once I do that, I am better able to send out my words in a productive manner that will not be harmful or hurtful, thus becoming an enemy to healthy progress. But before I send out those words and take care of self-evaluation, I need to practice worldview. In other words, assess my audience. How can I put myself in the shoes of the other individual to the best of my ability so that I consider that what I'm about to say can be helpful or may be hurtful? Once I do all of this, well, I'm ready for healthy communication. And as a result, the 5 steps that make diversity work are complete. Although this may sound rather... Now, I know that a lot of this seems overwhelming right now, but just like anything else that starts out that way, the more you try it, the more you work at it, the easier it gets. And as a matter of fact, after a while, it can really become second nature. So anytime you try anything that has to do with diversity, whether it be an actual training and activity or just working with other people on a regular basis, once you do this, that is, follow these 5 steps, you're going to find success and greater productivity on a higher level over and over again. I know you can make it work. So keep plugging away. It will get easier. Best of luck. And I know you're going to make diversity work.